not just for meditation, but like for darn near my entire day, I do approximately the same things in the same order for the same amount of time, such that each habit becomes the catalyst or like the trigger or the cue for the next habit in my day. So it's like if you can sequence your entire day that way, it's so easy to continue practicing habits.
Take us through your whole like routine then.
Okay. Morning
Like-
routine or like whole day?
Maybe like whole day if we can get through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to go fast because there's a lot of them. Like I legitimately mean, like if I was to go through everything, it would be at least 40 plus habits.
Okay, wow.
But like
you follow that in order. Like
darn near, yeah. But the thing is, like, it feels so natural because it's just going about my day in the same order. It's not like I have to think like, okay, next I got to do this. It's literally like it just flows because it's the way it is. When I wake up, the first thing that I do is I basically go through a full reflection period of the day prior, where for about 5 minutes, I'm effectively like quote unquote journaling on my phone about like how my energy levels are, where I'm feeling pain, what my fatigue level is, how many bowel movements I've had, what my weight is, like all sorts of things related to my body, my hydration, etc.
Wow.
And so the reason I do that is because I'm living my life as a professional Hyrox athlete right now. And prior to that, I was living my life as a pro natural bodybuilder competitor. And so
that's your identity. That's your why. That's how you can like do this.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a lot of
stakes.
The things. Yeah. It amounts to what I will or won't be and whether I will or not qualify for world championships.
Okay.
So because of all of that, it is worth me reflecting for 5 minutes in the morning on like, what are like little niggles of pain that I have, because I want to identify exactly what may or may not have caused those things. And so I do that for about 5 minutes and then I pee, I weigh myself. I used to cold shower right then and there, but I have another net new habit that's very recent, where I use something called the Elonga. This isn't a paid promo. It's just legitimately, I use this thing called Elonga. It just hit the US market. It's got super big in Europe. And effectively, it's a 3-minute heart rate variability tracker. So as opposed to something like a Whoop or an Aura that you have to wear all night or all day, you literally just wear it for 3 minutes in the morning. And so I intentionally don't cold shower before it just because I don't want to like quote unquote jolt my body. I go into the 3 minutes of usage. And that means I'm just laying down on my bed. And while I'm laying down on my bed, I'm literally habit stacking like 2 to 3 different habits at once. So I have the Elonga like on my forearm, measuring the basically the variation in my heartbeats, so that I can compare the parasympathetic versus sympathetic nervous system activations, your low frequency versus high frequency bands, which I don't need to do that myself. The data in my phone is doing that itself. But while I'm doing that, I'm doing my meditation and I'm using red light therapy. So I have various like niggles of pain in like either my knees or my ankle or my feet, just because I'm like running 40 miles a week. I'm doing Hyrox multiple times a week. I'm doing strength training multiple times a week. So it's like, it's a lot of stress and load on my body, which is part of why I'm tracking my heart rate variability in the first place.
That makes sense.
The red light therapy has been shown to be able to penetrate deep into the body to help stimulate healing. And then of course the meditation is helping with my, stress and mental health. So I'm doing all of that at once. As soon as I'm done with that, I go into a little bit of stretching, so like 5 to 10 minutes of stretching. Then I do my cold shower, I get changed, and then I begin my day. And so I'll create like my mushroom matcha morning cocktail of sorts, where it's matcha and it's mushroom breakthrough and it's I have my electrolytes, I have greens, like I have all sorts of things that go into like 2 different beverages that I consume with my supplements. And then I will go for my walk outside, which is like 10 minutes where I'm getting the sun exposure. A couple of times a week interspersed within that morning walk, I'll use the O2 trainer, which is training my diaphragm and intercostals to strengthen my voluntary breathing muscles.
Wow.
That enables me to, of course, perform at a higher level athletically. Then I go about eating my actual breakfast, and then I go for a walk upstairs while beginning my workday. So my workday is effectively all on my phone. I do as close to all my work as possible on my phone. So I have my social media, I have texting, I have email, I have calls, meetings, all of that I do while walking and on my phone. And that is how I'm able to get approximately 40,000 to 45,000 steps per day. That is my average. Yeah. So I'm doing that.
You're a machine, man.
Yeah. It's just like everything amounts to my goals, like you were talking about. It's like I want to become the best Hyrox athlete in the world, and I'm willing to do something that most people never will, and that is walk 6 to 8 hours a day. Because what that does that people don't realize is that it's building my aerobic base through zone 1 cardio on the 5-zone model.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of zone 2.
Yep.
So zone 2 is just a step above zone 1, but they're both in that like aerobic zone that's very low intensity, very recoverable. And so what they found is that the higher your volume of that zone 1 and 2 training is, the greater your mitochondrial density and capillarization can be. And what that effectively means is, in layman's terms, is blood flow can get throughout your body more easily, because if your body is more capillarized, it means that blood can get to where it needs to go more easily to fuel your muscles to perform at a high level. Mitochondrial density just basically means you have more energy production available at all times. So if you walk 6 to 8 hours a day, you can effectively increase those to an enormously extreme degree. And I got to see that pay off for the first time on March 27th at my first Hyrox in Houston, where after just quote unquote 6 weeks of training, I'd really been training for years and years, building up an aerobic base that I didn't realize how profound it was. So my very first competition ever, my partner and I got 10th in our age group out of hundreds of teams. And then at our second Hyrox in New York, we got 3rd in our age group out of hundreds of teams. And that was literally with like less than 2 months of training. And that quote unquote shouldn't be possible, but at the same time, it wasn't less than 2 months of training. It was like years and years of building a cardio base of tens of thousands of steps every single day.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a habit that's stacked throughout my entire day. That's how I'm able to do all my social media posting, my coaching check-ins, my brand outreach, my pitching, my meetings with people on calls, like all that's done while walking. And then after multiple hours of that, I eat my lunch, and then I walk for more hours, and then I go work out at the gym. I come back, I either go right back into walking, or I eat a meal and then go back into walking. But like walking is 6 to 8 hours a day. Like it's got to be in there somewhere. So it's pretty much all the way throughout. And then once I get to like the nighttime routine after doing all my training, I should also clarify, I'm doing like 3 different types of training. So it's running, Hyrox, and lifting.
Okay.
And so I'll usually have to do at least 2 of those on any given day in order to get my 40 miles, 2 Hyrox workouts, and 3 to 4 resistance training sessions. So I eat, currently I'm at 4,452 calories per day. And before that, it was 5,187. That was a lean bulk, 5,187. Now I'm in a moderate deficit, so cutting a little bit of weight so I can perform at a higher level. There's obviously a lot of like nuanced habits within my meals where like every single ingredient and every single meal is hyper dialed in for specific reasons. But just to get to the end of the day, after all of the meals have been completed and I'm walking, I literally walk on average again for like 2 hours after dinner. So like 10 p.m. to midnight or so, I'm walking, doing all of my nighttime social media routine, which is I might need to make an Instagram post, but then I do my OFCA research where I'm researching the science behind at least one new subject to fuel the Online Fitness Coach Academy coursework, but also to share on my story what I've learned based on the scientific literature. That's also when I will do some brainstorming for my book if I have any ideation that needs to be done or some actual writing in it. I'll check, emails, client messages, get back to all of those. I do my full story posting for the day. So everything I just described, I'm pretty much filming all throughout the day. And then it's almost like a mini vlog that goes on my Instagram story. Then I take a hot shower. All of my lights go off and I have only red lights on because red lights don't stimulate your cortisol production like blue lights would. And then very recently, I incorporated nighttime reading with a red light to illuminate the book. That's not like the whole thing of that is new, not just the red light, but I didn't read at night often. But because I'm now tracking my HRV and trying to reduce stress levels as much as possible, I was like, okay, I want to see if I can hyperdial this in even more by de-stressing the body before I try to go to sleep. And then I go to sleep and then repeat everything I just said.
Wow.
Thank you.
I got to give you another high five.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. I had multiple questions come up. But the first one was like, is that fun?
Yeah, I love every second of what I just described.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people listening are like, holy crap, all that structure throughout the whole day, knowing exactly what you do, but you have fun and you enjoy it. And then how do you fit relationships into your life? Is that like in the evenings, on the weekends?
Yeah, so it's basically like once it gets to the evening time frame especially, all of that fitness stuff is usually done with other people. So it's like when I'm doing a Hyrox class, it's a community workout. When I'm doing a run, it's often a run club. Or if it's like a long run, I'm sharing it with a couple of close friends who we can just talk for hours on end.
Okay.
So it's like fitness is how I get that together. And then everything I just went through is like my daily habit ritual, but I do have a couple of things that are like either once a week or a couple times a month. So like, for example, I do improv comedy. And so I have my improv rehearsals like usually twice a month. And so that's in the evenings after all of the training. And so that's
and
a
you
way.
stop and you're able to go to bed at the same time.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
With
So
the social stuff.
yes, 100%.
That's
It's a
where
non-negotiable. Yeah, because
Mm.
it's like when I know that I have those things because they're on the schedule, I just am a little bit more efficient and or I cut out things that aren't as necessary. Like I don't have to spend as much time going through social media posting or as much time doing brand outreach on that given day or whatever it is to like free up an hour or two that I can then allot to improv comedy or something like that.
Like you're clearly like walking the walk, literally.
Yes, yes.
Quite literally. And it's like that's what full potential living is all about too. It's like not just talking about it, but doing it.